Section 3, Video 3. Now these two questions we'll do together because they're very similar. They have some work that needs to be done to prep it first before we can use the quadratic formula. In the first one we have to subtract 12 from both sides. And in doing so we have 5v squared minus v minus 130 equals 0. So our a will be 5, our b will be negative 1, and our c will be negative 130. So we go to the quadratic equation, we say x equals opposite of b plus or minus the root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So again, I'm writing a skeleton here, so I know exactly what's happening. So opposite of b, so b is negative 1, b squared minus 4 times a, which is 5, and c, which is a negative 130, all over 2 times a, which a is 5, and now we calculate. Opposite of negative 1 is 1, plus or minus b squared. Okay, now this is b squared is negative 1 quantity squared, so 1. And I'm going to change this again from a minus to a plus, a negative. So I know that I'm taking negative 4 times 5 times negative 130, because that's where most errors occur. And if I multiply those all together, we get 2,000, a positive 2,600. All over 10. So x equals 1 plus or minus square root of 2,601 all over 10. I can actually root 2,601, and that square root is 51, so I get 1 plus or minus 51 over 10. And when you have a rootable number, you should go further and finish it and simplify this. So you have 1 plus 51 over 10, it's a 10, sorry, which is 52 over 10, which reduces to 26 fifths. And that would be fine. You can leave it like that. You can write it as a decimal if you like, just don't round it. This is a good exact answer. Then we have 1 minus 51 over 10, which is negative 50 over 10, which reduces to negative 5. So two exact answers. I'm going to go to the next one right away here because they're both similar. We have to get it in standard form though. And we get 6k squared minus k minus 70 equals 0, where a equals 6, b is negative 1, and c is negative 70. So we have x equals opposite of, and I'll write this out again, of b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So we know that a is 6 and b is negative 1 and c is negative 70, so we plug it in. Opposite of b, well, b is negative 1, negative 1 squared, a is 6, c is negative 70, and again over 2a, a is 6. So x equals a 1 plus or minus root of, negative 1 squared is 1. Again, I change this negative to a plus and negative, so it's, or a minus, changed to a adding a negative. Negative 4 times 6 times negative 70 gives us a positive 1,680 all over 12. Add those together and we get 1,681 all over 12, which gives us 1 plus or minus, and again we can root that one, believe it or not. We get 41. So now that we have an answer, or excuse me, a rootable number, so we should go further. So we have 1 plus 41 over 12 and 1 minus 41 over 12. And the first one simplifies down to 7/2, and the second one simplifies down to a negative 10/3. And this ends Section 3, Video 3.